Hi, it's Courtney doing my dedication speech. When I read the assignment and realized that I had to do a speech on somebody that I admired, I realized that there really isn't anybody that I admire. And let me just, it might sound kind of weird, but I feel as though that you should never put a whole person on a pedestal. I do admire things about people in my life. I do admire certain attributes in my friends and in my family, but I don't just take one whole person and just admire everything about them. I like to glean from my friends and kind of fill in the holes of my personality with theirs and vice versa. I'll explain. I have a friend named Lauren. She is what I call my pioneer woman. She knows all about holistic herbs and doing different things, and I admire that about her because I don't know any of that. She's, a fantastic cook, which I can cook as well, but there's just certain things about my friends that I don't have that I love to learn more about. I have a friend of mine who is extremely business minded and really down to earth, and I love hanging out with her. And there are things about my parents that I really do admire. Just not one whole person, but I like to take from everybody in my life and learn from. My father was in the military for 33 years, and he did a great job supporting me and my brother and my mother, and we were never hungry, and I admire that about my father. He was very into being making sure that his family never went without. My mother, she is very artsy and she loves, theater, which I've learned from her, and I appreciate that about her. I've learned an awesome work ethic from my father, and I've also been able to learn how to stop and smell the roses from my mother. It's not always about making sure it is about making sure bills are paid and everything, but every now and again you want to take time for yourself and just to stop and look at things and look at the beauty of the world. And I learned that from both of my parents, which I love. I have a friend of mine who is just the goofiest thing. So like I can't just take one person and say I admire this person because of X, Y, and Z. I admire everyone that's in my life for one reason or another. And it might seem kind of unorthodox. That I don't have, what most people would decide to call a role model. But I feel as though that there are things that I can get from my friends that, you know, I don't have, and there's things they get from me that they don't have. And I love to spend time and just have great conversations. I have a friend of mine who's very political, and he likes to watch CNN, and he's abreast of all the type of the conflict overseas. And there's something that I might not really be into, but once I am talking to him and figuring out what goes on in his mind, we have really good conversations. So said all that to say that I do admire a whole slew of people for a whole bunch of different reasons. I admire my brother because he stuck to it and he finished college, even though I am a single mother and I am pressing forward. It's a little difficult being a single mom and everything, but I do know that it can be done. I have friends who are actually mothers as well and going through school, and they give me the inspiration to move on. So, with that being said, that my dedication speech is for everyone who was in my life, who has shared a piece of their heart and their soul with me. And I love the fact that we can learn from each other. And I think that's how it always should be. I think if you put a person on a pedestal, that you kind of don't see them for who they are, you have this grandiose idea. When show themselves to be human, you're disappointed. So that's why I don't have one person that I would be call a role model or somebody that I admire, but I admire everybody for everything that they do for me and for their own family. Thank you.